Good afternoon, new orchid owners and orchid lovers. This is Trial and Error Jones, and today is watering day here with my new orchids. New meaning they're about 2 months old at this point. But I want to show you the routine. You don't have to be very concerned or worried about your orchids when the leaves start to fall off, or mostly when the blooms start to fall off. I have 3 examples here I want to share with you. Here I have the little baby orchids, and as you can see on this one of the leaves is turned brown. These are so little, and they're in bark and sphagnum moss, but they need to be watered a couple times a week. It's a little damp, not too bad, and I watered this one last week. The roots still look pretty good, if you can see. They still look pretty healthy. So this guy's going to get a watering. Okay, he's already lost his blooms, and the spike has been trimmed back, if you can see that. Okay, so that's that little fella. Okay, and the other little one here, as you can see, okay, he feels about the same, maybe even less moist than the other one. So he's definitely going to need a good water. And when I water them, I try to do a thorough job. And I'll show you how I do that. But here you see the bloom is falling off. And so what we're going to have here is this spike. And this long part that they grow on is called the spike. Spike doesn't look that bad, but my training is that you're supposed to remove the spike once the bloom falls off. So in order to do that, I have a pair of shears here. They're small but sharp, and it's advisable that you sterilize them somewhat. So I just use peroxide, and I give them a good spray. So I'm going to give these a good spray because I'm going to remove the old spikes. So I just give them a good spray. Okay. And here I have an older orchid, or I should say a bigger orchid, if you can see this guy right here. And again, the blooms have died and on the spike, and this spike is going to have to be removed as well. Here in the down in the median in the bark, you can see the old petals. Okay, so that one's going to be removed as well. I don't know if you can see that one too well. Anyhow, it's this guy right here. I'm going to remove this spike. And once you remove the spike, then new growth will develop over time if you give it proper care. So I'm going to remove these spikes. First, I'll remove the support. And they come with these little support rods or sticks. I'm not really sure what you call them. And they come with a little clip that holds them upright. And I've already sprayed my trusty scissors. I'm going to dry them off a little bit just with a paper towel. And then I'm going to, as you can see, I'm going to remove this spike. I'm going to cut it down pretty close to where the leaves are. So much for this guy. And I removed that old leaf off of that little lady. And here on this one, I'm also going to remove the support, the little clip that's holding the spike up, and the support. And then I'm going to clip that spike down close to where the leaves are as well. Nice clean cut. So once I've done that, and once you've done that, you're pretty much ready to get started. Today is feeding and watering day. So I try to water, since they're inside, only when the mulch and the bark feels kind of dry, and they feel dry, pretty much dry. So here's my watering routine. First I'll water. This is about a quart of water, okay, right here. So first I'm going to water. And the way I like to do it is I like to sit the plant, the orchid, in a bowl. kind of deep bowl, not too deep. I'm not going to fill that bowl up. I like to sit the orchid in a bowl. So there they are. I'll move this out the way, and this out the way for now. And I'm going to give them a good watering. This is just plain water, not cold, not hot. And once I water them, they're sitting in this container, and there's water in the container. So I gave them a good watering, and I'll put that over there. But after I've given them a good water, I'm going to come back and I'm going to feed them. So what I'm going to do is refill this pot with room temperature water. It's about a quart. Okay, I have my quart of water here, and I'm going to use this plant food. Just something I got from the garden center. And the requirements are that you give half of this cap. This is the cap. See, it's not very deep. But the instructions were to give half a cap. That's about half a cap to a quart of water. Easy peasy. So after doing that, I'm just going to give it a little stir. And while the orchids are still drinking up the water here, I'm going to give them a feeding. Water first, feed second. Water first, feed second. Water first, feed second. So there they've got a good dose of food and a good dose of water. And what I will do before I finish up is return the spike support. Primarily because I don't want it to lean too far over, so just a little bit of the spike there where I clipped it off, and I'll attach that to that. I'll remove this out the way, and on this one right here, I'll attach this little spike, this little support to this guy right here. Okay, I'll turn them around to the point where I cut the spike on this side, and I'll just attach that there. So I'll leave those sit there for about 5 minutes while I clean up. And once I do that, I'll take everything. Remember, this is just hydrogen peroxide that you pick up. I got this from the drugstore, 3%. And this is your generic orchid food. I got this one from the garden center. It's Bloom Orchid Food. Actually, I got this from the supermarket where they keep all their orchids there. And so pretty much any orchids food you want to use, just follow the instruction. Keep your orchids healthy. Don't feed them every day. We're going to go into a dormant season, and I haven't raised any orchids inside, and so I'm finding out when they're inside they need even more water. What I probably do is sit them in a little tray, like a little plant tray, with some stones or some beads inside, so there's some moisture in there, and then made only water when they are very dry. Anyhow, I just wanted you to know you can take care of those orchids, keep them in a place where they get light, indirect light, but good indirect light. They don't like to be moved. Once you put them in a location and they seem to be thriving there, that's their home and that's where they want to be. Anyhow, you take care, and I'll see you again. And next time we'll talk about how to give your orchids Epsom salt, magnesium. They love it. And we'll talk about that next watering day. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye. God bless.